ABC Wednesdays. Tim Allen and Kat Dennings star in the new family comedy Shifting Gears.
Dad, I'm broke and I need a place to stay until I figure out what the rest of my life looks like.
So, a couple of days.
When his daughter moves back in.
The last time you walked out that door, you looked back at me and gave me a double bird.
I was 18. The double bird was how I ended all our conversations.
The wheels come off.
Can we try to talk to each other like rational adults?
Have you watched the news lately? That's not a thing anymore.
New Wednesdays, 8, 7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen. Don't listen to this podcast.
Don't listen to this.
If you're not of age.
What's of age?
18.
16?
18. We're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast.
Happy fucking New Year.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Right.
Can you believe it?
I know,
Oh my
man.
God. 2025, it sounds like a fake.
I know it's weird.
Sounds like a fake future.
shit.
I know.
Like,
I was like,
yeah.
weren't they talking about this in Dune, the original?
Yes.
2025 on a planet. Spice rules the universe.
I feel like Marty McFly is gonna like come in.
on a fucking hoverboard.
We're way past Marty McFly now.
I know. that's
Yeah, we
true,
are way
actually.
past. Yeah,
That's true.
weird.
It's kind of crazy.
Well, we hope everybody had a good holiday, good Christmas, good New Year's,
Yeah.
good Eric's birthday. You know,
Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed it. You know, all the things. We are going to kick off our year pretty good. We have this one was really hard to do, just so you guys know.
I've watched one of the documentaries
You did?
on Netflix
Yeah.
about it.
The MH.
Yeah, and it was like I didn't get to finish it because as soon as there was like the family part got brought in,
Yeah,
my wife
that's
was
rough.
like, "Yeah, I'm not watching this." I'm like, "Okay," but I watched most of it, and it was very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the story of Malaysia Flight 370.
I think everyone should know about this.
Yeah, like this is. I actually didn't know about it
Really?
before I started to.
Yeah,
dive into it.
you
Yeah, I
hadn't
didn't
heard
know.
about it when it happened? Nothing?
Not really. Like I was
Wow.
kind of like, it's like an Asian flight.
Malaysian.
Like,
Yeah.
all right.
Asian,
whatever.
Some
Yeah.
Asian, Malaysia.
Asian Malaysian.
And I just didn't know about it.
Huh.
You know.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
super bizarre.
Yeah. So it's
I
probably.
don't really understand it, but I knew about it. Like
Really?
yeah, like I didn't really know the details or whatever. That's why I'm glad we're gonna get into it.
Yeah. And as we do when we go through these difficult stories, we gotta like at the beginning we gotta
Yeah.
say
Look, yeah.
there are 227 passengers that died and 12 crew members that died. So we're not trying to make light of that, and
No.
we're not, you know what I mean? Like we're not.
Trying to be insensitive and like
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But
Exactly.
it's also, like we have said before in the past, you know, this is bringing awareness to these people.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
it's not like just because we make jokes. It's like when you're with your friends and you're talking about stuff, you try to have a good time because you're with your friends.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're listening, we hope that you're one of our friends. And you'll
You
have a
just-
good time with
just
us.
hanging out with us.
Yeah, this is not like, oh, look
Yeah.
how stupid this is, how
Yeah.
stupid you know, like yeah, like.
But if you go back into our episodes, we never joke about the what happened.
no, I don't think we've ever
know
joked
what I
about
mean?
the death.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the death is
Yeah.
not funny.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, there you go. I just wanted to put that disclaimer there first. You know, because a lot of people lost their lives, and this is a horrible story.
Yeah,
frankly.
it's fucking
a horrible
tragic.
story.
Yeah.
and we're gonna do our best to and and or get to the bottom of it.
Yes. What
All right.
we have done multiple times. Stamp. I'm going to buy a fucking stamp that we can hit solve because we've solved quite a few.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of like me,
Bald.
there it goes. You never know. Things could turn. Things could turn. I'm optimistic for the future.
I know, right? If Eric makes a random trip to Turkey, we're going to know what's going on.
No, so this story, if you don't know about this story, this is the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. We're going to call it MH370.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easier to say.
Easier, yeah. So on March 8th, 2014, it's considered one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was a routine flight from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia to Beijing in China, and it vanished. There were 227 passengers and 12 crew members unaccounted for. So that's the story. That's the summary of it. Yeah.
That's the gist of it.
Plain gone.
Yeah. So this is 2014, and we're going to start with the captain, Captain Zaharie. He was a 53-year-old veteran pilot. He had been with Malaysia Airlines since 1981. He had 18,000 flight hours during his career.
That's a fucking lot of hours.
He was well respected. He was like the guy.
So he's not like a new, like there was it was his first flight. No, he was a pro.
Yeah.
He was an avid flight enthusiast. He built his own flight simulator at home.
Damn,
for
what a
practice. Now, keep that in mind. Put that in your little cap because later on, his flight simulator would be part of the investigation.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to get a little losty.
Rumors circulated in the media about his personal life, but reports suggested that he faced marital problems, etc. But, we'll take that up later. The point of Zaharie is that he was a veteran.
Yeah, he was a pro. He was a pro. The guy was a fucking pro.
Yeah. His co-pilot and or first officer was Fariq. He was 27. He had a lot less experience.
Well, yeah, he's also half the guy's age.
But he was still qualified to be the co-pilot. Now, he logged 2,800 flight hours. And
it's a lot less than 18,000.
That's right. Now, Fariq was in the final stages of being a fully certified Boeing pilot.
Okay. But he's a co-pilot, so I don't feel that bad.
Yeah, that's right.
He's like
that's
the
how
dude,
you do
he just sits there. Yeah, he just sits there, and the guy's like, watch what I do.
That's how you do it. Yeah. Flight 370 was his last training flight before he got his certification.
Ah, shit.
Oh, wow.
Just like to add insult to injury.
Yeah.
So the captain was kind of like his trainer and his evaluator, and he was the one who was going to put the stamp on.
But that also makes me think, since it was his last one, he's like, hey, take the wheel. Whatever his name is. Like, take the wheel, brother.
Yeah.
Like, take us out.
I'm gonna take a quick little snooze right here.
No, it's like, I trust you. This is your last
Have
one.
you seen Flight with Denzel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
Oh my God.
He's just like raging drunk.
Yeah.
Like,
And
my
doing
God.
coke.
Dude, he was yes, I was drunk. And I was fucking
January 10th, January 9th, January what's today?
October, yeah.
And I love he had like the whole system. He knew he could he's like, oh, I'll take these two little babies.
Yeah.
And like I'll put them in the trash here. No one will know. Like the guy was a veteran alcoholic.
I know that one. That's a wild story. If you, I would not recommend flying
After watching
that or
Yeah.
watching it while you're flying. Yeah. Just
Not a
don't
good
do it.
move.
Yeah. Okay, so the flight MH370 was a Boeing 777. It took off from Kuala Lumpur at 12:42 a.m. So it was a red eye to Beijing. It's kind of like a basic red eye from that time. The aircraft was scheduled to arrive at 6:30 a.m.
It's a fucking basic 6-hour red eye. Jesus.
Yeah.
On board were 227 passengers, 12 Malaysian crew members. The initial phase of the flight was uneventful. The aircraft climbed to its cruising altitude of 35,000 feet, made routine communications with air traffic control. Yeah. So we're going to go through the timeline.
Okay.
A little bit of what happened here.
Yeah. Walk us through.
12:41 a.m. All tracking systems are working as the Boeing 777 takes off from Malaysian capital Kuala Lumpur. At 1:07 a.m., one of the plane's communication systems sends what turns out to be the last transmission. According to the Malaysian Airlines CEO, it said, it showed nothing unusual. The 1:07 transmission showed a normal routing all the way to Beijing. Now, I did print out some things for you both, right? And it's this one.
Let me see this.
And I printed out two because there's
okay, so this is like the this is the track.
So the picture on the right, and we'll post this on our Patreon.
Okay.
The picture on the right is the track.
Okay.
Is this the track?
Oh, okay. So they're going from here.
Don't look at the dotted lines.
Oh, okay.
Look at the basic lines.
They're going from here, and I think this is what they're supposed to be going this way to go to Beijing. And I think what happens is they have contact there, and then they end up getting contact here, which is way the fuck off course.
So we're gonna go through this, right? But now that you have the map, you have some basic of understanding of where it is in the world and that sort of thing.
This helps.
And just so we can kind of describe the last civilian. So the last contact is
what we're talking about. 1:07
east of Thailand. So they're in the ocean,
they're
middle
of the South China Sea.
Yeah.
So the aircraft communications addressing and reporting system is on board a computer that collects information. It collects information about the aircraft.
Is this the black box? What they call the black box?
No, the black box records all data that happen. So that way, when they retrieve it, they can see all the operating systems. It's pretty much it's imagine taking an instant replay of everything that occurred.
Okay, but doesn't know
system
and also
all
records.
The systems,
and it has a microphone and records.
Yeah, it records all the communications. All systems, all communications are just recorded there.
And does it have a GPS?
Yes.
Okay.
It does, so they can find it.
Okay.
So if a plane crashes, it has GPS, so you can then find the black box.
All right.
So there's one part. It's called the ACARS, which is the Aircraft Communications Addressing and Reporting System, right? And it measures thousands of data points, and it sends the info via satellite to the airline, to the manufacturer, et cetera. And you know what I mean? That just constantly is
the old
data.
ACARS.
Yeah, the old ACARS. So at 1:19 a.m., someone in the cockpit makes a voice check-in with air traffic controller as the plane is apparently leaving Malaysian airspace and it enters Vietnamese airspace.
So they gotta be yo, we're cool.
Yeah.
We're coming in.
So just imagine there's a bubble of who's in charge of what airspace.
Yeah. And so they're going into the airspace now.
That's right. Yeah. Initial investigations indicated it was the co-pilot who said the following: "All right, good night." And that was the final. Those were the finals from the cockpit. The phrase "good night" is a radio terminology used by pilots when executing a handover from one airspace to another.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah. It's like nighty-night.
Yeah,
a little changeover from one pod to the next, baby.
Night.
It's kind of like a pleasantry, all right, night.
Good night, brother.
We're gonna move over. Yeah. The plane's transponder then stopped at 1:21 a.m.
Interesting.
And it stopped communicating, sent electronic messages from the plane, which were considered squawks, to a radar system about the flight number, altitude, speed, and heading.
So they can track it. So they're everything is pinging. They're we know where every flight is, where they're going, what's happening.
Now, with the transponder then turned off, and the transponder was off, and now the plane is flying blind from the ground's point of view.
I'd be interested to know, just interject, if that is something that has to be turned off manually, or if it
does.
Is known that it can just turn off at any given time.
Question. Yeah, it's a great question. It does.
Oh, so it has to be manual.
It has to be manually turned
off.
So
Jakar was like Shazam, Jakar. What is his name? Something, whatever.
Yeah.
Pilot,
co-pilot.
So here's the concept: is that it was turned off, but
why?
But just because it was turned off doesn't mean it alerts somebody.
They would just have to notice, the transponder's off.
Somebody would have to notice it.
It doesn't set off some alarm,
now,
transponder's off.
It was simultaneous to transferring over from one airspace to another.
Okay.
right? So therein lies one of the biggest problems of this whole mystery. Is that
why
it was at the same time.
And they're going into new airspace, turn it off.
There you go.
I see. That is kind of weird.
So then,
Very weird.
So just imagine you're the original airspace, and you're tracking this thing, you're this bird. And you're
so when they go into new airspace, they're not even. It wouldn't even alert. It's and they're like,
yeah, you don't worry about it anymore. You're like, okay,
yeah. Malaysia's like, you're off our rate. Yeah, you're in the new territory. Their problem.
Okay, so then they moved, and then at 1:22 a.m., the Thailand military radar is tracking the plane's signal, but it disappears.
What? How the fuck can a giant I can't. You can't get an F-22 Raptor is not going to fucking disappear off the goddamn thing. It's a $60 million weapon of doom.
So then the Thai radar at 1:28, which is 6 minutes later, the Thai radar station in southern Surathani province picks up an unknown aircraft, what they thought was 370.
Okay.
So between this, the plane appears to have changed course in that time frame. And this
which
is
I can
what you
see by
the thing. Yeah.
So it's basically traveling northeast, but then this is showing that it started traveling south.
Was it pretty much like west, southwest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind when right after the investigation, when it disappeared, they didn't know this.
Oh, for sure. They probably had to everyone's got to get their heads together with when's the last communications you had? When's the last time you pinged it?
But this is just data that we have now.
Okay.
Because of then. Now, look at that turn.
I mean, that is like almost a full 180.
Have you ever done that in a plane?
Have you ever done that like in a car?
Yeah.
It's
like a U-turn.
Can you imagine?
It's almost a U-turn. It's like,
can you imagine? Wow.
And what do you say? Because you're going to be turning for a while.
It's almost a full UE.
Yeah, it's almost full U.
And you've ever made
a plane?
No, have you ever had to you're like the landing pattern's full and you got to like circle around?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Didn't I tell you guys
and you're in like
I
a
got stuck in going to
forever.
Chicago? Remember? Like when was it? November or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were just like circling up there
and you're
for
just
an
going.
hour.
It's like you're in a NASCAR. It's like
so annoying.
I'm like puckered up. Like when that happens, I'm like puckered up.
Oh yeah.
Like.
I don't like this.
We're gonna
I do not like this.
We're circling over a fucking city. I hate. Oh,
I'm the worst. I just go to sleep, man. I'm just
I'm instantly asleep.
Yeah, you too?
Oh, dude, like wake me up when
yeah.
Unless
like I might watch a movie, but
if it's
90% chance I'll fall asleep.
If it's international, I get drunk.
Yeah,
and then I fall asleep.
Okay.
Well,
I could be.
I got last international flight I went on.
Don't do international. Me and Eric over here just going to Chicago. Maybe we get to go to Texas.
Yeah, right.
That's about as far. Carolina.
You guys travel way more than I do. I usually get one trip a year.
Okay, so the ACARS system that we went over was supposed to transmit every half hour.
That seems like a long time.
It does.
I'd be like every couple minutes.
But it was supposed to transmit at 1:37 a.m.
Okay.
But it didn't. Yeah. So
now this was supposed to transmit to the next airspace, which I guess let's say it's Thailand.
Yeah.
So but Thailand doesn't know, do they? Because they just had entered before they.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward to 2:15 a.m. Through the Malaysian plane, it's not transmitting information, so it's basically gone. Radar on the ground or elsewhere can still detect a plane that's in the air.
Yeah, there's like this unidentified plane.
Yeah, but it's just randomly kind of going, right? And military radar tracked the plane as it passed over a small island in the Strait of Malacca. At this point, the plane was hundreds of miles off course.
Yeah, and I'm curious too, because like, at what point does the Thailand military be like
do something,
scramble some fucking jet? Like imagine like in the U.S. there's like some unidentified plane, and they're like, let's just wait. They'd be like, get them in the air and like find out what the fuck this thing is.
That's part of this whole conspiracy of this. Is like, why didn't there's just a random 777?
Yeah, just throw some jet. Well, they didn't even know it was a 777. They just thought it was a random aircraft.
True.
Yeah.
Scramble the jets, boys.
It could be military. They don't know at that point.
I would get I'm gonna get some planes in the air.
So this at 2:15 a.m. This was the last time that any civilian or military radar was known to track the aircraft. Yeah.
But like, I'm sorry, I'm having a really hard time understanding how military radar can lose a fucking giant condominium with wings. It's like, how the hell did they lose that?
It's hard to. I mean, we'll unpack this later, but totally. It's hard to know because again, it's the greatest aviation mystery that's
I know we're like,
occurred.
why? How did they lose the plane?
Yeah.
Tell me, Eric.
I know. Come on, answer it.
So the Malaysian military over its raw radar data to the U.S. and British officials, apparently setting aside concerns about sensitive military intelligence. So they just said, "We need help.
Yeah, take it.
We don't know what to do."
Understood.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening. And they quote as saying, "We don't know much about the Malaysian military. It appears that Malaysia was providing an interpretation of the analysis and not the raw data. So now they are handing over the raw data."
Yeah, let us inspect it.
Yeah, exactly. 2:40 a.m., Malaysia Airlines says it's learned that there's a plane missing from radar. And this is a major part of this story is how fucked up the Malaysian Airlines and the Malaysian government handled this situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was like over an hour later. They're like, "Oh,
absolutely.
Where'd that plane go?
Absolutely.
It's supposed to report every 30 minutes, but
yeah." Now, and to take a pause on this whole thing. Now, I'm going to put you in the perspective of being. There's stories, and you saw the documentary too, which is there's stories of like the dad who, the kids,
dude, it was so
lost the kids and the wife.
It was heart-wrenching.
That's the worst.
And not
because he had to stay. He had to stay for work.
Yeah,
and they were like going to what it would do was fucking
And on top of it, to this day, you don't know what happened to them.
No answers.
That's the worst part.
I would be a fucking
the
lunatic.
fact that it's like and the thing is like they're saying they haven't found there's no wreckage, nothing. Can't find shit.
Well, we found wreckage. But
they did?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, I missed that part. Whoopsie daisy.
Okay.
But we don't know. There's no. We don't know what happened.
There's not an answer.
Yes.
There's not a
exactly
conclusion.
Yeah,
and you would want
until
closure.
tonight.
You would want some sort of thank you. Here comes the closure.
So 2:40 a.m. Malaysian air traffic controllers told Malaysia Airlines at 2:40 that the flight was missing officially.
Okay.
So that's how long it took.
Yeah, officially missing.
So during this time, the airline sourced every communication possible to that flight to locate its whereabouts before declaring that it was lost aircraft. During this period of uncertainty, Malaysia needed to establish facts by contacting other air traffic controllers and aircraft flying within the same route. So it was just like a clusterfuck. And so they waited that long to go
to confirm it,
to own up.
I think it's also
to own up and be like, we lost the plane.
It's also we're so used to like our way of travel, like within the United States, because the FAA is it's one of the most highly regulated.
I mean, shit, you can pull it up on your phone. You can see all the planes up there now.
Oh yeah,
it's one of the most heavily regulated industries in America. So we're used to like this fucking like overlord type viewpoint.
Is that not the same?
I don't know. I'm assuming
like
it's
in Malaysia. Can you pull up like say Jorge's coming and we got to pick him up?
I thought it was actually global.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm pretty seen that map that I'm talking about, and
I mean
maybe,
but clearly,
but
not regulated.
But no, hear me out. Like I know this is a stupid conversation, but I'm picking Jorge up from the airport in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I'm picking him up.
Okay.
False. He's on flight.
He's on flight 123. He's on flight 123. Can I look up Jorge and where he's?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I really cannot answer that question.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I had another question. What was the weather like?
Wonderful question.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
I
don't think it was shit.
There's no.
So probably it was like.
There's no data that shows that it was like
bad weather.
Or anything sort of weird.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was fine.
So at 3:45 a.m., Malaysian Airlines issues an alert, and it issued a code red, and it alerted that the plane was missing from their radar. It declared that a crisis requires immediate deployment of emergency response plans. It said it took about an hour to issue the alert because it was trying to verify the plane and or lost location of it.
Okay.
So by 6:30 a.m., which is 3 hours later, it should have arrived in Beijing.
Yeah.
That's the land time.
Yeah.
Yeah. By 7:24 a.m., that's when Malaysian Airlines announced that it's disappeared. And they did so on Facebook.
I love fucking Facebook.
I actually remember
like
that
press release
in the morning. There was news about it, not the Facebook thing, but like I saw it was on the news, and then they were starting to report on it already.
Yeah.
I love that why would they announce it via Facebook? It seems so like, and then people think that we're like
I know, we're
insensitive. I mean, like they like put it on like MySpace. Like I'm like, come on, no one's like what?
So at 8:11 a.m., the CEO revealed that a satellite tracked the plane more than 7 hours after the takeoff. And they didn't provide details on the satellite tracking, but it appears that high up orbiters above the ocean detected the plane as the satellites attempted a series of what's called handshakes in the world of it's basically it's a program called Inmarsat, which is a British satellite communication company that provides global mobile services. And basically, so just imagine like, let's say you're on Hulu and you're watching a show and you're watching it for 17 hours.
And they're like,
and then they pause and they go, "Hey, are you still watching?"
Yeah, like, you there, bro?
So it's a similar scenario where the satellite will be like, "Hey," every hour they'll be like, "Let's make sure the communication is received."
I see.
And they call it a handshake.
Okay. Well, the handshake is like initiate.
Like a ping or some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like letting you know that you're there.
That's right.
I'm here.
That's right.
Like a touch.
Yeah.
I'm
here. So now
hand.
this is very important in this photo.
Oh,
because
because
this
that's
is the
the satellite.
Inmarsat satellite.
Okay.
And so right now, where we're at here is there's radar lost everybody.
Yeah.
There's no radar. Radar's done. Forget about it. But the satellite above creates this communication bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they say,
which is pretty big.
It's pretty big.
It goes from
huge.
like Africa to Malaysia, basically.
Yeah, that's right. And so what they say is that they received the handshake.
Oh, so someone had to initiate the handshake.
Or at least they were still alive.
Okay, yeah. There was some sort
There's
of
some
activity.
Yes.
There was an activity
That's right.
happening.
On the very basic level.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like
even
a system's like, hey.
Yes, we're here, we're alive, acknowledged.
But that has to
that's it.
happen manually. Like that's a person that does
I'm
that?
assuming.
No.
I'm assuming
No.
it's just like
Okay.
I'm assuming it's like some sort of communication system that's
Okay.
like, oh yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
But the overall point of it is that the electronics system was still live
Because
8 hours later.
Okay.
Oh wow. So they're still flying.
They were still flying.
Holy shit.
So this is the bubble, and we're going to
The other
put
thing,
this
they
on
probably just
Patreon.
eventually ran out of fucking fuel.
Correct. And that's part of it, right? Is when would they run out of fuel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see that the theories are which way they went.
Okay, they went there and then they just go out into the fucking abyss.
That's right. So this is the bubble of the satellite for Inmarsat.
Yeah, and let me just kind of describe this. So like if you go west from Thailand towards Africa, which is this bubble that we're going to show if you're on Patreon, right? But anyways, you'll see like there's nothing but huge land of or huge space of just ocean.
That's right. And so essentially what they found was a ping along this corridor.
What?
Oh, because what?
But they don't know if it was this
There
one
or there.
this one.
Oh.
That's a big difference.
I know it's massive.
Holy
Huge
shit.
difference.
Thousands of miles difference. Like, what the fuck?
So just imagine all systems are shut off manually,
Yeah.
and this is all that's left. Tracking?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
All right. We'll
just to kind of describe the distance that we're looking at here. So at the bottom, you have any idea what these islands are? or
Well,
not?
it's like outside of Australia.
Yeah, it's like west of
Yeah.
Australia, but then towards the top,
That's like Russia.
Russia.
It's
Yeah.
like that's how far. That's like how far the distance is.
It's like somewhere in here.
Yeah, they're like Earth.
Yeah.
You're somewhere on Earth, flying still, active.
Now I just want to. I'm also going to take another pause here and just be like, this is of all the topics that we've taken up, aside from 9/11 and maybe JFK, this has the most content.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Because
Like,
it's like
if you
it's happened in
wanted to-
2014. It's not like
Yes.
it's not like it was in the 60s.
And it's a strange history, and like people dedicated their lives to this. They still dedicate their lives to trying to find these people and what happened. So, point I'm trying to make is there's more data that you can dive into.
Yes, you can go way deep. Yeah, this is a bridge.
I have 3 notes of the Inmarsat satellite.
Yeah.
3 pages. Whether or not we want to go through that now.
Deep,
yeah, we don't necessarily need to. But the point being is that Inmarsat is the company that had the satellite that does this long range pings, essentially.
Okay.
But what they found is they didn't find the plane, but they found a registered satellite ping. And it provided the only clue to afterwards, because in the radar shut down very early.
Yeah.
But later on,
so 8 hours later.
8 hours later, they found a ping.
Okay.
Tracking?
Yeah. So it's like the only.
It's not super helpful because the area is so huge.
Wide.
I know, but it does. If you were to do a search team, and this is the problem with the Malaysian government, if you were to do a search team and you were searching here.
True. Yeah.
But you had a ping.
That was like complete.
Here. Yeah. It fucks it all up. So at that time, Kuala Lumpur Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Center was activated. The initial search efforts focused on the South China Sea,
which is where they were heading.
Where the transponder turned off. By the end of the first day, more than 40 aircraft were out there. Multiple nations were involved. Even Australia helped with the search because they're right there.
Right there, yeah.
In the days following the disappearance, the search focused on the Gulf of Thailand as well, South China Sea. Suspicion was raised when it was revealed that 2 passengers boarded the flight with stolen passports.
What? Sketchy. That adds a little wrinkle to this.
Yeah.
Now, they were discovered to be asylum seekers, meaning they were trying to...
Yeah, they're not like trying to be martyrs.
They're just trying to escape.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense.
Their country.
They get a pass.
Yeah, allowed.
On March 15th, Malaysian Prime Minister announced that the satellite data from Inmarsat indicated 2 potential flight paths. South, north.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Phase 2, they shifted to the southern Indian Ocean, one of the most remote areas of Earth, which is essentially like here, south.
Yeah.
4.5 million square miles.
Jesus, that's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. 4.5 million square kilometers.
Oh, well.
Wow.
So it's about 3 million square miles.
Still a lot.
Same.
Same.
In late March, Australian authorities began coordinating the search effort. Aerial and naval assets from multiple countries combed the ocean surface. Multiple people thought they saw debris.
I mean, that's the hard thing too. Like, you're not going to see like
they couldn't find the debris.
The main structure is going to sink, so you'd only be looking for like a seat, or like this is going to be so difficult.
Yeah.
In 2018, a private company by the name of Ocean Infinity conducted a renewed search using advanced tech, and they covered 112,000 square kilometers, but found nothing.
It's really cool.
Wow.
Cool company name, though.
I know it is.
Ocean Infinity.
112 out of
3 million. 112,000 out of 3 million.
Out of 4.5 million kilometers. So 112,000 kilometers.
Oh, wow. Okay. My bad.
Yeah.
Back to the kilometers. So a very small portion.
Yeah. So it's like looking in your backyard when you're trying to search the whole state.
Yeah,
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. The search
tried.
The search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 remains one of the most extensive in history. While the main wreckage has never been located, over 30 pieces were in fact found.
And how do they know that? How were they able to confirm that they're from?
Correct. Some have been confirmed and some haven't. Now, remember we did an episode
On Boeing?
and Boeing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And it was like, how do you, like, let's say a tire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah. Is there a serial fucking
VIN
number on
numbers,
it?
serial numbers.
I know, but some of them have that, but some of them don't.
You can't imagine that every piece of material on it has a serial number because it
Right.
probably doesn't.
No.
And also, too, what if like it happens in a crash? It can get, fire, explosions.
Yeah.
Like,
by the way, we I think we came up with a phenomenal invention, didn't we, in one of our episodes where it was
which one?
A manufacturer like Boeing, they should inject some sort of DNA to every part, some sort of like thing, like you just splurt it out, like you know what I mean?
Check the jizz sample on the bolt.
No, and then forever each part that is a section would be able to be tracked.
Like nano Apple tags.
Yes,
that seems like an exorbitant expense. Flights are $56,000 to like fly to Miami.
Thanks to Eric's idea.
Literally, it's like so expensive.
I know, but or a stamp.
There's got to be
something.
There should be
something. You like a plane's done. You're like, yeah, we're done, and then you splurge a bunch of shit on it. I don't know.
Right. This is a not smart idea.
Yes.
Don't listen. This is not financial advice.
Here are some of the things that were found. The first confirmed piece of debris was a flaperon, which is a control surface on the wing, and it's literally flap. It's the flaperon. It's the flaperon.
It's the thing that probably like pulls up, like you look and like it goes up to like create the air downflow.
So on Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean in July of 2015, this is more than a year later. It's located about 1,000 kilometers west of the primary search area.
Okay.
In the southern Indian Ocean. They found the flaperon, and it underwent extensive analysis, and investigators confirmed it belonged to the plane through serial numbers and other features.
Good. Okay, good.
The condition of the flaperon suggested it had been in the ocean for an extended period of time, and it was consistent with the timeline. Okay, wing components. Several parts of the wing, including parts of the right outboard flap and other surfaces, were discovered on the coast of South Africa.
Jesus.
These pieces were confirmed
everywhere.
Yeah, over here.
And they also had serial numbers on them.
Okay.
Additionally,
so maybe we don't need the splooge.
Yeah,
to discern.
Pieces of the cabin interior, such as the floor panel and fragments of a seat back, were found in Madagascar,
which is also in Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
These discoveries indicated that the plane had, like analysts suggested that it was such a high impact that a majority of it disintegrated.
I highly doubt that.
I know.
Because
how fast are you going?
No, but how fast are you going?
No.
But you're going into the water too. I don't think like you'd have to be going so fast for like metal to disintegrate. I know like water, like you hit water, it's like hitting concrete, but to disintegrate?
Yeah. No.
I don't buy that.
Because also to disintegrate it, they'd have to like burn up. And
vaporize.
Yeah, it is.
What does disintegrate mean?
And this disintegrate means it means to vaporize. So you can vaporize things by force, but I don't imagine that you'd be hit. You'd have
a whole plane.
No, well, yeah, maybe if the plane was going like the speed of sound into the water, it would disintegrate for sure.
Okay,
but I don't think that plane can go fast enough.
No,
to disintegrate the whole. Maybe it would disintegrate at the point of impact, like whatever the first thing to hit would, but not the whole fucking plane.
Yeah,
no way.
In South Africa on a beach, they found a small piece of engine cowling, and it had the Rolls-Royce logo on it. And it was confirmed as part of the engine.
Oh, the Rolls-Royce turbine engines,
the 777. A fragment of the horizontal stabilizer, which helps control the pitch, was also recovered, and they determined that it was part of it.
Okay.
Also in Africa?
Quite a few determinations.
A few things across
many things. Yeah, like
millions of square kilometers away.
Literally. Schmillions. Schmillions, bro.
So from non-conspiracy theorists, so like people
that don't listen
who just
to us,
think they crash, right? The debris provided some sort of insight into what may have happened, which was that it was a sign of extreme force crashing into the ocean, and or the ocean currents then pulling it in the many directions.
And I can see that. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
There you go. Yeah. Now, no large sections have been found. The fuselage or the key components, such as the black box, Never found.
Okay.
So you said that it does have a GPS on it.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's an impact strong enough to vaporize some shit, it could probably like disable a little transponder.
True.
Yeah.
And that doesn't that. I think it usually rides up front.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's somewhere like in the cabin.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be close to like all to record the data of all that shit.
Yeah.
I know it's like protected, but I don't think it's like, like a fucking nuclear bunker in there. That's like,
especially if you're going 500 miles an hour into the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's vaporized right at that point.
Right.
But not the whole plane again.
No,
like maybe just the front part.
Yeah, just like think the front part would probably.
Didn't they never recover the black box for Kobe's helicopter? I think so.
Something like that.
So like it could also like burn
up. Yeah, it could have burned up. Yeah, but they're hitting the water, so I don't think it's burning up.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely ain't burning up. It's an ocean. To squelch the flames.
So after this whole thing happened, part of the upsetting thing of all of this is that the way the families were treated was pretty horrible, and it was just no information. And I don't know if you chalk it up to chaos and nobody knowing what's going on or
national security.
Yeah, or
I'm sure
or just being a fucking asshole.
I'm sure they were trying to
they're trying to protect their PR.
Exactly. I think it's like they're only looking at their best interest. Like how do we mitigate lawsuits? How do we mitigate public dissatisfaction with us?
Yeah.
But then again, like you would think they would be kissing super ass to the families, right?
I know.
It seems like that it'd be the good PR play, like to try to kiss their ass as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the lack of evidence in determining the cause of the disappearance, coupled with the absence of any physical confirmation of the crash, created these challenges regarding who was responsible and what insurance would pay out for it. Right?
Yeah, because it's not like it's so nebulous.
Wouldn't that just be the Malaysia flight company's insurance? Or
Malaysian
are they saying
Airlines also face potential civil lawsuits from the families, but like it's different in the U.S. compared to Malaysia.
Yeah, probably true.
So in the U.S., like some of these disasters were $5 million in compensation.
Yeah.
While Malaysia was not that way. They classified it, the Malaysian government officially classified it as an accident.
And that's the end of the story?
No, because like I don't think maybe like in terms of like maybe having a civil case, if you can't prove negligence, what are you going to civilly sue them for?
Oh, okay.
Because if an accident, like if say hypothetically, if a plane's flying, it's like struck by lightning and crashes, can you have a civil suit to sue the company for getting sued for getting shot? But yeah, there's no negligence. It's not like it'd be different if it was like shit canned. And like this crash, and they proved it, and they're like,
or he was like Denzel, and he was all like liquored up, or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, this part is pretty upsetting, which is that Malaysian Airlines offered payments to the families soon after the accident, but they were offered $5,000.
Oh my God, that's not even like
comfort money.
That's no money. 5 G's?
Some of them rejected the gesture.
I would have. I'd have been like, fuck you. $5,000?
Yeah.
Is worth my fucking family member? Fuck that.
By June 2014, the Malaysian government reported that families of 7 passengers had received $50,000 in advance for compensation.
How many? How much?
$50,000.
7 passengers? Yeah.
Still seems like
it's still shit.
Still seems
horrible.
like still seems
not
like
only that, like I'd feel
slighted.
I feel weird.
I'd feel slighted.
Oh, like I'm gonna take money for
Totally.
my family dying. I don't know. It just
Now, I'm gonna put this into perspective as well. At the time of the flight, Malaysian Airlines was grappling with financial problems.
Oh, great.
Over the 3 years preceding the incident, the airline reported losses of 762 million USD.
Holy shit, that's massive losses.
Yeah.
That's almost a billy.
that's a lot.
That's a fuckload
That's a
of
lot,
losses.
The airline struggled with compounded declining investor confidence after it happened with the stock crashing.
Oh,
Yeah, of
plummeting.
course.
On August 8th, 2014, the airline's majority shareholder in a Malaysian state-owned investment fund announced plans to purchase the remaining shares of the stock, making it like a nationalization, so to speak, of your airline with a government fund.
Oh, so maybe this is like maybe part of the conspiracy of crash the stock so then we could just buy up the rest, revamp.
I mean,
and then
it almost seems like they just tried to salvage the fucking airline because that was the main airline of the.
And Malaysia's not a huge. Malaysia's not like some massive country. It's,
No.
it's like Malaysia's probably the size of like Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so in some of the investigation, we're going to go back to the captain, Zaharie Ahmad Shah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he owned a flight simulator at home.
Yes.
Yeah. And this piece of equipment became a significant focus during the investigation because what they did is they explored it as his home. And now just imagine in your home, you have a flight simulator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you go in and investigators went in and the flight simulator, the last simulation that he had was a very similar flight plan
Really?
to Flight 370.
Well, I mean, if that was his next flight,
It almost makes sense.
yeah, he's like, yeah.
Oh,
but
so
it's
you're
like,
talking about the original plan or the deviation?
The original plan.
Okay.
like, oh, I'm gonna make this flight. I thought you were gonna say like his simulation was
The
if the
deviation.
RCAS goes off
Yeah.
and like these types of things.
But it had a yoke, a throttle system, multiple monitors. I mean, this is a legit.
Yeah. Probably like what you would use to train in
Yeah.
school, pilot school.
I can just imagine like if it's on the same thing, he's like, oh, all right, I'm gonna make this flight. Let's make the flight.
I could see that.
Let's run it. Let's run
Yeah.
it.
Especially with his experience too. Like it seems like he was a very professional guy
Into
by
his
that
thing.
veteran.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. He wanted to
No,
make
but,
sure
yeah, make
like,
it crisp as
like
fuck.
a practice almost.
But conspiracy theorists say that
We are like something's off here. Why the fuck was
Well,
he
no, I mean,
practicing?
so he's practicing the same flight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like you gotta
It's
gotta
not
know
weird.
It's kind of weird. It's,
It's
not
like,
weird.
It's like literally, it's like Tom Brady was like studying his plays before the game. What a fucking
exactly.
weirdo!
Okay, I like where you guys are
What a
at.
psycho.
I like where you're at.
It's like I ran for a couple of months before I did my marathon.
Well,
No,
weirdo.
weird.
It's like, why are you gonna train? Fucking loser.
Okay. I like where you're at. I actually like this thought. You guys are super not
That we're not like fucking making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
I just think that like it seems like a normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Like he's a pilot. He wants to run the route.
Okay.
And especially if you go back, I bet you would find that he simulated previous other flights that he was taking.
But here's the thing.
You know?
Okay, I'm gonna be the conspiracy guy.
I know.
Okay.
Wow, Eric is fucking taking
It would be like, you remember the Vegas shooting?
yeah.
It would be like him having no.
That's
it wouldn't.
that's
different.
way
It's
different, Eric.
It's
He's not
different.
simulating
Right.
killing people.
Right.
He's
But the
simulating
idea
flying.
is that not like none of the other pilots have this like $50,000 worth of equipment on a simulation at home.
But you know, if you want to be
Maybe
the,
he was
if
just
you-
good.
If you want to be the best, you gotta fucking.
Wait,
you gotta work
is it that
harder.
much? 50 grand? 50
I
grand?
mean,
If that's the case,
maybe it's not 50. Maybe it.
I don't know.
maybe
It's also like in
Malaysia?
Malaysia, it's probably cheaper.
Yeah, it's like $50.
It's like literally, it's like a PS2. It's like hooked up to this.
So investigators discovered that some of the flight path data had been deleted from the simulator. Using extensive forensic techniques, they recovered a route that appeared to simulate a flight over the southern Indian Ocean. So going that way.
What did it appeared
It
to?
appears
How did it appear? Can't you just look at the flight plan?
honestly, how many games do you play and you do all the simulations and you
Oh,
do
yeah.
all the different ways? Who knows? Yeah, I know. But again,
A little bit different than a video game, though.
Again, they established that there was no. It's all circumstantial evidence.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like there's if there was something a little more juicy there,
Yeah.
I would love to dive into it, but it just doesn't seem that juicy.
Yeah, like if you told me he simulated the deviation or something, that's
Then that would
very
be
different.
hella sketch. Yeah.
Yeah. So the simulator showed no signs of simulations that involved crashing the plane or any sort of hijacking scenario.
Okay, good.
So it was just straight up takeoff.
Yeah, pretty vanilla.
Even if you were like, "Hey, I'm going to Hong Kong," landing there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like simulations, straight simulations.
I wonder if the simulation takes 6 hours like the flight does.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine sitting there?
No. Oh. You pause the simulation, get a hot pocket.
So later on in this whole investigation, it was considered that he just crashed the plane. A suicide.
I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, based on the thing being manually shut off, I was thinking maybe the co-pilot had. I don't know why I'm not going to like the professional guy. I'm like going to like the rookie.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence to say that. You know what I mean?
There's
like,
no evidence. There's no evidence to say that it was the pro.
Also, if that was the case, then why would they make almost a U-turn? He would just crash it after he turned off the
yeah, that's a good point. Why not just crash it?
Yeah.
No one can stop you.
Right.
Like, why make it weird? I don't know. Yeah.
I know. I don't know. And then
this one's definitely not getting solved, boys.
So after all this happened, like we're talking riots, we're talking a lot of things happened from the families.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
Like
I'd be raising hell.
You could imagine the families just were like, "Fuck this shit."
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I would be. I'd be up in the fucking.
And it was all
arms.
live on camera, and like they were just, "Why are you not telling us?" Because the Malaysian government started to backtrack and go, "Oh, we're going to search here by Australia. Oh no, we're going to search here," and it's just a never-ending. Your kid is gone, and you have no idea what you're doing, and it was just.
I would be super pissed.
Oh yeah,
I would be.
What
fucking,
would you do?
Oh, I would be. Well,
no, I mean, like practically, what?
Riot? No.
No, I would probably go to. I would call 700 times a day to like my. Whatever the local government was until someone fucking did something about it. Yeah. I would just call nonstop, show up. I'd be there, sit in the fucking waiting room. I'd be fucking everywhere. Yeah. You would only see my fucking face everywhere.
Yeah. Make a lot of noise about it.
I would make so much noise.
Yeah. Go to the news or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We're going to go into a part 2 on this. Obviously because we have all the theories coming up. We have so many different theories of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
These folks are still missing. It doesn't. Whoa! You know what drives me crazy about it is this is not like 1972.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's 2014.
Right. This is.
There's so much technology. You know how many goddamn there's like thousands of fucking satellites. And like the radar systems are so advanced. How do they lose radar with a giant plane? I don't get it. I don't understand.
That's fucking bullshit.
Like, you know how impossible it is to get stealth fucking, you know how much it costs to make a stealth bomber, which is not even 100% stealth, mind you. It just, the way it's shaped can like help deflect radar at certain altitudes and shit.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible to escape radar. It's almost impossible. And this is a commercial airliner, which is like built to be detected.
Right.
It's like the whole system is around being detected.
So there are theories, and we're going to go over it in the next episode, which is there's theories of hijacking. There's theories of like somebody was sitting in a wrong seat, and then you can access. How do you turn off the electrical and the tracking?
Okay, yeah.
Like, how do you do it? If you're not the pilot, if you're not the captain, how do you do it?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
You have to go underneath. You have to pull up the latch. You have to go underneath into the computer system and turn it off. And you have to know all that.
Yeah, so it's gotta be. Yeah, you gotta be you gotta know what you're doing.
Planned.
You also have to know where, like, what it even is.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Like some random like hijacker's not gonna be like, oh yeah, the ACARS system. Yes,
right. And then on top of it, there's another theory, and this is the wildest theory of all of them, which is that at that time there was a plane shot down in the Ukraine.
Oh yes, I remember this.
I don't remember this at all.
Don't remember this?
Yeah.
So there was a plane shot down in the Ukraine, and some say that this is the plane, and they did a swap.
Oh, like the Titanic? It was like,
and they used that plane as the shoot down plane, and they were already dead.
Oh my god!
To begin with, it's a wild. There's some wild theories. Like,
well, we're gonna get into that. We're not gonna give you all the juice right now at the end of this episode one.
Yeah. There you go. So again, It's horrible.
It's tragic.
But we're trying to continue to shed light on this, and as well as try to help figure out what happened.
Of course, and look, if we don't ask questions, if we don't question the narrative, like then, we become drones. We become the sheep.
Yeah.
And the herd, and not everything necessarily has to be a conspiracy, but if we don't question what happened or if something else could have happened, then we'll never know the truth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. We'll see you guys later. Hope you guys are doing good.
Fucking love you guys. And they're going to have the best fucking year yet.
That's right. Yes. Cheers.
Night night.
What's up, guys? I hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to invite you to join us for our Patreon. So what that is an exclusive membership. We're going to be able to get exclusive discounts, like 15% off on all our merch.
And you won't have to listen to these ads
no more ads.
Never again.
Plus, you're going to be able to access our minis episodes. So that's something that nobody else is going to get access to. They're just short podcast episodes worth about 15 minutes long or so. Yeah. So cool, extra content that you're going to get access to.
I know, and all those other suckers are waiting for next Tuesday. You're going to hit some minis up, fill the void.
That's right.
Instead of, having to wait the rest of the peasants for the next episode.
There are 2 ways you can sign up for exclusive content. The first is through Spotify. There's a link in our profile description that links you to the Spotify premium page. And that's only $2.99 a month. And it gets you an ad-free experience and it gets you extra episodes that come out every month. The other way is through our Patreon. All you got to do is go to Patreon and search The Conspiracy Podcast, and you'll find us. There are many different levels there, all giving different amounts of content. That's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, nighty-night.